Hi guys, Jon Fincher here from Scrum Assembly. In another life, I was a program manager at Microsoft, managing the servicing of the Windows operating system. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about how we managed a distributed team. This is also called an offshore ISD team. Now, what do I mean by that? We had two distinct teams, one located in Redmond that was responsible for servicing the current version of Windows. At this time, that was Windows 7. We also had another team located in Hyderabad, India, and they were responsible for servicing every other operating system that we had that was down level of Windows 7. So think Windows Vista, Windows XP, Server 2003, etc. It is important to note that each location, Redmond and India, had a full servicing team. They had program managers, they had engineers, they had management buy-in. Everything was there. They had build and test services. The whole thing was there. The only thing that was shared between us was release, and that always happened in Redmond. So you might deduce from the description that the management of these teams was fairly easy. I and my other PMs would manage our teams in Redmond, and the PMs in Hyderabad would manage their teams. However, there's a complication when it comes to managing and servicing multiple versions of the operating system. We needed to make sure that bugs that were fixed in one version of the operating system were also addressed and fixed in other versions of the operating system. This is exceptionally true for security issues. We need to make sure that any security issue that is raised is fixed in every operating system and released all at the same time. Similarly, if someone had reported a non-security bug in, say, Windows Server 2003, we also wanted to make sure that we fixed that in later versions of Server, in Windows 7, and make sure that that got into Windows 8 and Windows 10 and everything else that came after it. Otherwise, if you upgraded, you'd find that that bug that you had fixed 2 years ago magically reappeared. Not a good thing. So there was some coordination that had to happen. So how did we do that? Well, we took a multifaceted approach. The first was once a week, the PMs all got together on a conference call and we chatted. And we talked about the issues that we had. We talked about what our teams were working on. We talked about what issues we had seen. We talked about what kind of problems we were having. We talked about anything that the other team needed to know about. As the release window started to close, we would chat sometimes daily. Maybe we would have multiple con calls. There was a lot of email that flew back and forth. So there was open communications. And it wasn't just the PMs. We encouraged our engineers to talk to their counterparts in Hyderabad and in Redmond in order to coordinate their actions and make sure that everything was going as smoothly as it possibly could. The other thing that we did is we had a central database of all of our issues. Every issue came together in one central database, and we ran everything out of this. And so you could see the status of every bug, who was working on it, where it was in the process. Was it being developed? Was it in testing? How did testing fare? How was the build going, etc. So you could track everything. And this was open to everybody. This was open to project managers, program managers. This was open to the engineers. This was open to management. Anybody who had access to the TFS database could see exactly where we were. The reason we were successful with this approach is because we came at it with a mindset of transparency, making sure that everybody on the team, from management all the way down to the individual contributing engineer, had access to all of the information that we had. Without this mind shift change, there is no way that we could have been successful. Remember, Agile is not just a set of tools and processes, but it is a mind shift change. If you don't change the way people think about the problem, you're not going to get a different Agile solution. Good luck, and we'll talk to you later.